And he just left it on the counter?
Then he vanished. You think he might be the Invisible Man? Or maybe a vampire? What if he's Dracula? Oh, wait, it's daytime.
Wrong count. Monte Cristo.
Sorry, not on the menu. Never a fan of the eggy bread.
No, Granny, it's a place, and its count has quite the reputation. Why would he want to meet with us?
He doesn't. He wants you dead. He wants his revenge, and that's the only way he can get it.
That doesn't make sense. We've never even met him. Why would he want to kill us?
Because I hired him to do it.
I know Once Upon a Time is a very confusing show because there are just so many different things going on in the overarching plot. But I have to say, I have never been more confused than when I finished watching this sneak peek. And allow me to explain my confusion. So apparently, in the past, the evil queen hired the Count of Monte Cristo to kill Snow White and Prince Charming, but for some reason, the Count was stopped. And this begs the question, who stopped him? Now, there's essentially two options. There's either a third party that stopped him, that's close to Snow White and Prince Charming, or the evil queen stopped him. And I'm really curious to see which one it is. I'm guessing it might be the evil queen, but I think for plot purposes, that really wouldn't make sense because in the past, she despised Snow White. She would have done anything to essentially get Snow White's head on a platter. So I'm really curious to who this possible third party is if I'm right. But I think I really might be wrong because this season is essentially focused on the evil queen and Emma. So who is this third party, or why did she stop him? Like, what changed Regina's mind? Now, the reason why I say it might be Regina is because Snow White said her and Charming never met the Count of Monte Cristo. That means whoever stopped him, being a third party or Regina, is someone who is close to Snow and Charming, because the Count of Monte Cristo isn't after Snow White and Prince Charming for the purposes of revenge. He's after them for the purposes of enacting his revenge. And I'm really curious who did it and how they did it. And also, I'm really curious if the Count of Monte Cristo is magical, because he just got out of Granny's diner in the second sneak peek without even a poof, and he just vanished and nothing happened and no one ever said boo. So I really am curious if he has powers, how do you stop him if he does, or who just stopped him. So I'm really curious if you guys have to say, oh, it's Regina, or oh, it's a third party. But other than that, I don't think there's too much going on in this sneak peek for us to dissect. I mean, there was a fun couple quips with Granny, but that was kind of moot or dull. Like, that didn't entertain me. But I am very interested in what's going to happen here. Apparently, Regina just can't escape her past because, hey, the past comes back to bite you more than often in this show, and probably more than often than most characters want. So I'm really curious to see what's going to happen here. So I guess from the many promos we saw where Snow White and Charming were fighting someone on the docks, that someone is obviously the Count of Monte Cristo, and I'm actually really curious to see how that fight is going to be going down. Also, in the promo that completely focused on Regina, we saw Regina on the docks throwing a sword, and I'm curious if she's going to throw the sword at the Count of Monte Cristo. I haven't looked at the casting call, so I'm curious how many episodes the Count is going to be in, and I'm actually curious if the Count will team up with Hyde, especially if the two of them are magical, then you're going to have a duo of magical characters who seem to be pretty powerful, at least at this moment. I know Hyde's definitely powerful, and I'm assuming the Count of Monte Cristo is going to be a pretty powerful character for the characters to deal with. So my review of the sneak peek, confusing, but a very interesting plot because I'm curious to see just how it's going to weave from the past into the present. I know this season has an underlying plot from the past that will come back to haunt Regina, and that plot is essentially focused on getting rid of Snow White. So I'm curious to see what that plot is as well. So anyway, solid sneak peek. Interesting plot. Very confusing, though. Very, very confusing. And I'm curious if you guys are just as confused as I am, or maybe you have clarification. So share your clarification if you have it in the comments below, or your own theories about the episode. And thank you so much for tuning in. Also, as I said in the first review, I'll be out of this very soon. I just have my office being taken over at the moment. And I am curious what you guys have to say about the new setup where I just have like the pictures and myself and the smaller camera. So please, some feedback on that would be awesome too. So anyway, share your thoughts about the sneak peek in the comments below. Thank you so much for checking out the review, and we'll talk soon. Bye, guys.